Hello everybody, me again. Some of you might have seen we did a live session on Zoom with 3 other ladies who are beginning to crochet, which marvellous, wonderful. And in that little video we explored chaining, which is your basic stitch for crochet, that's where you start, and then doing a double crochet. Now double crochet is the UK term. American terms are different to the UK terms, but I will work in UK terms, so that just makes it a little bit easier for you to follow. So to begin a chain, you just get your wool, like so. This short end, we're going to tuck that away. We don't want to be working with this. That's sort of a tail. And we're going to get the wool and we're just going to make a loop in the wool. So that's like that. Okay, so you've tucked your short end away, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hook through and then just pick up the long end and pull that through your first loop, and then just give it another one, and then we can deal with this tail and just pull it up so that you've got an end like that. So then we're just going to carry on and make a few more chains, and then I'll show you the double crochet stitch. So this is what is called yarn round hook. So you put your yarn round your hook and pull it through, and then pull it through again, pull it through again, pull it through. Make your hook do the work. That's what it's there for. Don't worry too much about how you hold your hook. Everybody does it different. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. And also how you deal with your yarn. Again, some people, if you've knitted before you've crocheted, you tend to do a sort of a mixture of the two styles, where you'll use one hand for you wrapping your wool round. I don't do it like that. I think I learnt to crochet before I knitted. So the two things are quite completely different for me. However, it doesn't matter. You do this how you want to. It's a very forgiving craft, and there's as many ways of doing it as there are days in the year. Everybody does it slightly different, but nobody's doing it wrong, because we all end up with the same result. So let's just make a few more chains. If you want to pause the video, stop the video, rewind the video, just to see how we're doing and what we're doing, please do, because that's why we're doing this. Right, so let's just see what we've got here now. So we've got a series of these chains. Now I don't know if you can just see there, if I hold it, hang on a minute, where's it gone? Right, there we go. So you can see a series of like little V's here. So when we come to do the double crochet stitch, we're going to be working into those little V's, and that is the sort of the place where you put your next stitch, which is the double crochet. So if you feel confident you've made a chain, I'll show you how to do the double crochet. So at this point you might want to pause your video and make sure you're getting your chain right. I would say don't worry too much. This is quite what we call an even tension. It's taken years of practice to get to this point. I know one lady who does nothing else but makes chains. That makes her happy, that's great. So I'll now show you the double crochet stitch. So this is your loop here, and if you can just see here, there's one V there and then another V further along, and what we're going to do is just sort of move your chain round so that your V's are facing you, and then you're going to put your hook into the second V along, right, because this loop counts as your first double crochet. That's the end of the row. And what you're going to do now with your hook through that V is just like you did for the chain, put your yarn round your hook and pull it through that V, so that you've got 2 little stitches, 2 little loops on your hook, and then you get your yarn again and you pull through both of those stitches. So that makes this little stitch here called a double crochet. Double crochets, when you've worked a lot of them, you usually do them in a backwards and forwards row. You end up with quite a dense stitch, and that is something you might use for a scarf or for a rib on, say if you were making some mittens or something like that. You'd use it for an edging where you want the stitches to be quite dense. So let's practice that again. So you're going to put your hook into your second V along, your next V along, and push it through. Sometimes you have to be a little bit brutal with your crochet. It's fine, don't worry, it's okay. Right, so we're going to pull with the hook, pull your yarn through, and it's just curling a little bit there, but don't worry about that, that's fine. And then pull your stitches through those 2. So you've got another double crochet stitch. I don't know if you can just see that there. That's what it looks like. So what I want you to do now is just carry on pushing your hook through that V, pulling a loop through, and then working through the 2 loops to make a stitch. So push through, pull through, yarn round again, and pull through the 2 stitches. So we've got push through, pull through, yarn through the stitches, and just do that to the end of the row, your little row of chains. Don't go mad and have massive long rows. Just keep it very short and simple, because the beauty of it is that if you feel like you've made a mistake, you're not getting it right, you can just pull it back and start again. So you'll be able to use this video to remember where you started with the chain and then how you do the double crochet stitch. I will do another little video in a minute to show you the treble stitch. Now that is again a UK term, treble, and that is just you making another loop in your stitches. So basically crochet stitches, when you follow a pattern, crochet is all about, you will use double crochet, half double crochet, trebles, double trebles, up to a quadruple treble, which is basically a higher stitch with more loops. And that's all you're doing. It's just a series of loops, where you put them and how you create different stitches. And once you've done it, oh my word, you do think you're clever, and you are. It's fantastic. You've taken up a new art. It's an art form. In the little Zoom video call I did with about knitting, one of the very important things you must remember about crochet is that, like, you can buy a knitting machine, you cannot buy a crochet machine. There is no such thing. So every piece of crochet that you see is handmade. It's a handmade artifact. It's in itself an heirloom, things that are prized and collected and treasured for generations to come. But if you can make it yourself or pass that skill on, then that is really something very special for your family, your friends, and it's a social craft that you can take with you. You can work with friends, have a chat while you're doing it, a cup of tea, piece of cake, whatever. But it's really nice. It's a nice social craft, and it's a very enjoyable craft. So just carry on to the end of your row, doing your double crochets, like so. So through your V, pull up, and through again. Through your V, pull up, and through again. Through your V, pull up, through again. Through your V, pull up, through again. V, pull up and through again, and right down to the last stitch there. And this is the little loop that we made that we pulled up, so that might be a little bit tight, but be a bit brutal with it. Pull up and through. So that's your crochet, and all you do when you've got that far is you just do one chain like we did right at the very beginning, and then miss the first V, but your V now has changed so it looks like this, you see. So you're going to be working into this part. So what you're going to be doing is you're ending up with the V sort of on top of your stitching. So I'll just show you that now. So we're going into that little bit there. So if you can see there, we get a better picture of that, your V is sort of over your hook. So then we're going to that bit there, and we'll pull through and just carry on making that stitch to the end. And it's very useful to count these stitches, and then you know how many stitches you've got and how many stitches you should have. Because if you don't keep your stitches the same, your work will start going out like that or in like that. And when you're learning, that's not critical. Just keep on practicing the stitches rather than keeping your edges straight. Because like I said, if you do make a mistake, you're not happy with it, you can just pull it back and you've got your yarn to work with again. And it's all about practice. So I'm going to stop this video now. Just remind you that there are other videos on YouTube, on the internet, places like that. Attic24 has a blog which you can have a look, and she's got photo tutorials which are very good. Bella Coco and Tina's Crochet Club, they have videos on YouTube, and some of the big designers, when you get into buying the big patterns, they put video tutorials on as well. So they're useful to have a look at. And some you might like, some you might not. You might just prefer me. Oh, thank you. It's up to you. You know, the resources are out there. They're free mostly, so please do use them and do keep practicing, and we'll see you soon.